All right, now as you can see, the rotors are in terrible, terrible shape. They're making a ton of noise. The pads are still good, if you can see there. There you go. You can see we got some life on the pads. I'll give you a shot of the inner one. There's the inner pad right there. And if we take a look right here, you can see here's this boot. Good idea to know if it's been lubricated before is we can actually pull this boot off from the caliper, and there you can see it's silver, so it's not too bad. We'll be able to pull that out. Look at this one. I haven't even touched it yet, and if I pull this boot back, you can see we have a little bit of silver. However, when I'm panning in there, you can see it almost looks like this part here, this pin, it looks like it's pretty much seized into there. So I don't even know if we're gonna be able to get it out. And if we can't, then we're just gonna have to replace it, because what'll happen is we're gonna break this coming out. And this is really tight, guys. There we go. But at least it came out. And we can move it, which is a good sign. But I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull it out. We'll see. You can see how tight it is here. We're just gonna try to see if we can push it off. And there, we actually got it off, which is a really good thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be able to take this rubber boot off, take a wire wheel. We're gonna clean this all up here. Gonna make sure we lubricate it, and we'll be able to reuse this caliper. So first what we're gonna do is make sure we take out this inner pad. If I can, let's use our pry bar here. We'll just give it a little bit of a push. There we go, just like that. So we're gonna take it out, and as I showed you, the pads are fine. They got a lot of life left on them, so we're just gonna reuse them. We'll give them a little wipe, clean them up, but we'll reuse them. Now we gotta get this rotor off. Now, before you go doing the brakes on your Dodge Avenger, there is two different rotor sizes. There's one that's just over 10 inches, which is what this one has, and there's a rotor that's just over 11 inches. So you're gonna have to measure your rotors, because there is two rotor sizes, and also the calipers and the pads are different as well. So that's one thing you gotta do, is just know what rotor size you got on your vehicle. So we got our new rotors right here, and we're just gonna make sure we put our rubber plug in there, just like so. Just push it in by hand. There we go. We got a nice new rotor there, so that's kind of nice. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna clean up all this area, because we don't wanna put on the new rotor and have all that rust there. So first things first, warning. If you don't have a mask, use just a manual brush. Try to do it in a ventilated area. You can see I got the garage door open, so that's nice. So it's nice and ventilated. I am going to use an air tool. It's gonna generate a lot of dust, which is very unhealthy, so I make sure that I always wear a mask. Very, very important.
Now normally whenever I'm pushing caliper pistons back in, I always use this tool. You can see this tool to the side here, just threw up a little thing. But because the piston actually didn't come out that much, because we're not replacing the pads, all I did was I just used a pair of water pump pliers. And you can see that was more than adequate, because the piston actually didn't have to go in that much. So just a quick tip there.
Okay, so I'm still wearing my mask. You might not be able to hear me very well, but what I'm trying to get at, get some good light here, is we're just going to clean these up, because this is where the rubber, actually those boots seal. So if you got a bunch of rust in here, what's going to happen is you're just going to get moisture going into the pins. You don't want that. So we're going to take the wire wheel, and we're just going to clean this part up a bit.
Now you're probably asking how we're going to clean the inside of these bores here. They're a little bit difficult to clean, so I'm going to show you.
I have a kit here, so what I do is I get one that fits pretty snug in there, and we're going to shoot some brake clean in there, and then we're just going to give it a little massage, and this way we'll take out any excess dirt and try to remove some rust, and then we'll lubricate them up, and this way the pins will be good. I'm just going to clean the old pad a little bit, just give it a little shot of brake clean, just to wash it off, any excess dirt or anything like that. And then we'll just give it a wipe with a rag. Now, before we put the rotor on, it's easiest if we lubricate these slider guides here, I guess, for the pads, if you want to call them that. So we'll just use a little bit of anti-seize, and we'll do that, and then we'll put the rotor on. Now when you're putting anti-seize around here, you don't want to get too much on, but just a very, very light coat, because or else what'll happen is it can actually, when the wheel's spinning, it can come out and it can hit the inside where your brake pads actually hold, and you don't want it slipping there. And now we're just going to test fit the pins, make sure we did a good job cleaning. So there you go, should work just like that, nice and easy. Now this top one, don't put too much in, and the whole reason is the top pin has, it's got a rubber thing on the end of it. I don't know if you can see, there's the rubber thing on the end of it. So, on the end of the pin, so this rubber will actually sort of, it makes it really tough to put it in. It almost hydraulic locks. So you can't put too much grease in the upper one, but just enough to give it a good coating. Now in case you're wondering how to put these on, the thick side of the rubber, you can see thin, thick. The thick side goes towards the bracket. So the thick side is going to go onto the bracket. Make sure I'm getting this all in the shot there. There we go. Just like so, and you can see it moves nice and freely. This is the way it should move, nice and freely, just like that. $14mm. So what did I use for tools, guys? Well, not much. 14mm for the caliper bolts there. There's the wrench, 14mm wrench, 14mm socket. Take off the wheels there. Put the grease in the bore holes right there. A little bit of a cleaning brush and another cleaning brush. Really, that's all I needed. So not a lot to do this job. And then of course a mask and eye protection as well. So anyway, that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. GarageKing, over and out.